What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here, and welcome back for me to do some movie reviews occasionally on my channel. This is a film I've been wanting to talk about and review for you guys for quite a long time. Pretty much ever since the past more than a couple of years. Today I'm going to be reviewing one of these films that is a massive contender to be a top 10 film of all time, Apocalypse Now. This film was released in 1979. It was directed, produced and written by Francis Ford Coppola. It is loosely based on the 1899 novel called Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. The budget for the film is $31 million and the box office is almost at $105 million. This film has been known as one of the greatest of all time, although it did stir a lot of negativity and controversy when it was released previously. But throughout a lot of time, with anybody talking about this film, and even to discover what I see a film that is not only just a film, it is a brutal experience. This is a film that I have always been thinking about ever since that I was blown away by watching the 2019 version of the final cut version of Apocalypse Now. I know there's the Redux version that came out years prior to the final cut version. I have only seen the original version, which I've got on DVD. But when I bought the Final Cut Anniversary Blu-ray, I was completely speechless after watching that version of the film. The Final Cut version is just at 3 hours max. I know the Redux is a lot longer, but it doesn't matter which version of the film you would be watching because Apocalypse Now is something else. There's many words for me to describe what I really think about it, as not only it has become one of the most successful films that Francis Ford Coppola has created, but everything else from the brutal amount of productivity to the hectic weather conditions, some damages and lots of chaos that was going around. I do recommend watching this fantastic documentary of the Heart of Darkness that was released in the early 90s, just to show you how hectic and very tough the film was for Francis and everybody else to make. The film opens up with a really ominous impending view. Helicopters and the rainforest bursts into flames, and we hear the classic track from The Doors, The End, to start everything off. We see a slow fade in of a character, the veteran Captain Willard, played by Martin Sheen, and it was at night time. He was heavily intoxicated with alcohol and he just goes into a tangent, almost completely naked, decided to smash a glass mirror, to which Martin actually injured himself while the cameras were rolling. It's a beginning of something as heavy. And Apocalypse Now does not start in like a usual setting. After the beginning sequence, the next morning, Willard wakes up and the I-Field Force made a mission for Willard to assassinate the former US Army Special Forces officer, Colonel Walter E. Kurtz. And Willard did have a talk with J.D. Spradlin's character, Lieutenant General R. Corman. Corman was addressing what he wanted Willard to do the more he talked about Kurtz. Kurtz was described as insane and was arrested for murder. Harrison Ford makes a brief appearance as a character, Colonel G. Lucas. He gives Willard the orders. So Willard, in the end, was told to terminate with extreme prejudice. By the way, Colonel G. Lucas Can you believe that the director from Star Wars, George Lucas, was originally going to be directing this film? That's crazy, isn't it? He rejected it, so that's why Francis, in the end, decided to do it. Willard would then become involved with other people on a US Navy River Patrol boat commanded by Chief Petty Officer Phillips, with Lance B. Johnson, J. Chef Hicks, and Tyrone Mr. Clean to travel through many miles through the Nong River to where Kurtz is located in the Cambodia River. Frederick Forrest played Chef, Albert Hall plays Phillips, Sam Bottoms played Lance, and a 14-year-old teenager at the time, Lawrence Fishburne, who would later on be a character in The Matrix, played Mr. Clean. Robert Duvall appears as Lieutenant Colonel Kilgore. His character is one of my favourites, and he's just a big boss. He does have like a very tough personality. He's such a strong commander, a great character who's also a surfing fanatic. Willard was talking to Kilgore to make discussions around the safe journeys into the river, and he finds out that Lance is also a surfer, so Kilgore escorts them through Nong's Viet Cong coastal mouth. Then afterwards we see an iconic scene with the track of Ride of the Valkyries playing in the background, with tons of helicopters flying through to cause as a massive massacre as it gets. Brutalizing shootings, killings, explosions from the ongoing war. Willard then continues with his crew to board the PBR to continue his travel with his mission. Michael Herr also did do the spoken word dialogue from the beginning to the end of the film. His spoken word delivery is top notch. It delivers the darkness of the story. It is so well placed, and the more I hear his voice, the way he speaks, it makes the film as intriguing while the film goes on. The film's duration goes into some of the most experiencing, most beautifully gorgeous sights of scenery that I have seen in any film. The cinematography is 100% excellent, highly consistent, as the cameras were filming these different sites from both day and night. I adore the positions of where any scene is located during the ongoing travelling. There's an ongoing amount of tension around through Willard's journey with his crew. With the whole character performances, there's a lot of personality differences. And besides, we see newer characters throughout the story. A big difference is with the separate personalities from Willard and his crew. Willard is the only strong one out of the lot while they were going through the river, and with the other members, they are not only in their own ways with the way they speak and go on about anything. Willard is heavily focused. He's the most silent character, but it makes Willard as a whole a really strong character. The other characters, while they're on the boat, in my opinion, don't have the same amount of experience, because Willard knows what it's like to fight through any war. He has witnessed everything as long as any other soldier than the other people on the boat. The lighting through day, night and dawn was perfection. The cast performances to the special effects, and as well as to mention the haunting soundtrack. As the film progresses further, we have seen different ways in each of the characters' performances when they were attacked to eventually then get killed. Every scene from those attacks were full of emotion, pain, and anguish. The characters would later on becoming insane. They're starting to lose it, and it makes the intensity increase and severely full of danger and paranoia. There's a lot of stuff going around the film that I will not spoil a lot of it in this review, because as I said, if you have not seen this film, you have to discover it for yourself. Even though that it is a long, lengthy film, when they get to the destination of where Kurtz is located, the bleak, gruesome, and heavily disturbing presentation presents itself. The view looks unsettling, dirty, muddy, and graphic. Dennis Hopper's character as an American photojournalist is a brilliant change of performance, because with the other characters earlier in the film full of horror, dread, and horrific moments, Dennis Hopper's performance is wacky and wild. His character goes all over ballistic, fantasizing and worshipping. He madly worships Kurtz when the scenes of Willard and him are together. Marlon Brando's performance as Colonel Walter E. Kurtz, a twisted, schizophrenic role of a character, is always legendary to watch. I mean, it's Marlon Brando. You cannot go wrong with him. And besides that, he did arrive completely overweight, didn't rehearse any of his dialogue and not memorize them at all, because, he's one of those actors that just does not give a fuck, doesn't want to be told what to do. The dialogue, like the horror and moral terror scene, is full of improvisation, highly descriptive, and it's one of my most favourite scenes throughout the whole film. In the first place, I was drawn into these performances. Vicious, powerful character of Kurtz is still chilling to see every single time. As so deep his character is, he's one of the greatest antagonists that I have watched through any character that Marlon Brando has portrayed. Everything about Apocalypse Now is a lot of description. There's no other rhyme or reason than to personally see this film as one of the top 3 films that Francis Ford Coppola highly made in a very achievable way. I am still at a loss for words, because as I'm talking about this film, it's like I'm picturing it in my head, thinking about the scenes, thinking about this hectic, violent, and not comfortable setting that Apocalypse Now still delivers to haunt, scare, disturb, and yet fascinate many movie audiences worldwide. This is not a film that is always for every single person. But if you do want to be invested by a film, like with other films people talk about, like Schindler's List, for example, Apocalypse Now is no exception to the rule. I will always recommend this film, and definitely get it on Blu-ray or on 4K with your system. Build your movie collection to purchase films like this. That's personally all I would like to say about the 1979 film Apocalypse Now. Let me know what you guys think about this film in the comments down below. Is this one of your favourites of all time? Is this one of your most favourite Francis Ford Coppola films? The crew have worked 100% with as much of the powerful determination to get it all completed. And like I said, go and watch the Heart of Darkness documentary, as it will explain why this film took that long to craft into then a very big, successful movie. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.